I've never heard a Christian pray to Jesus as God created the heavens and the earth. I never heard a Christian say that. I always heard Christians speak about the Father who's created the heavens and the earth. That's very important. When Christians read the Christian Bible, the Trinity has not been invented yet. And therefore the Christian Bible is portraying Jesus as a servant of God, someone who God sent, who says the Father is greater than I am, in John 14. Someone who says, I cannot do anything of my own, John 5:30. Jesus who has this huge dialogue with God in the book of John, from John 14 all the way to through John 17. These are massive dialogues. Jesus is talking to God. He's crying out to God in his cry of dereliction. He's saying that if I testify of my own, my testimony is nothing, but it is the Father who testifies of me. Jesus who prays to God in John 17 that my disciples should be one as we are one. So that means that the writers of the Christian Bible clearly see Jesus as a servant and subordinate to the Father in every way. God is way up there, and Jesus is some sort of representation or reflection of God. Those who have seen me have seen the Father. Because if that's not the case, what does even the word Father and Son mean? That means if the Father and Son are interchangeable, then how is the Father not the Son not the Father? These words don't even have any meaning anymore, and when words mean everything, they mean nothing. So, I think what is happening is that Christians deep down recognize that there is one God, and that's God the Father. And they believe that Jesus, talking about Trinitarians, they believe that Jesus is a God in a Greek sense, but not the God. He is a divine reflection of God, but he is not equal to God. It is impossible to believe that and make sense out of the Christian Bible. I hope that's the case. So I think what's happening is that there is, in the mind of the Christian, there's a cognitive dissonance, where they know they have to articulate the Nicene Creed, they have to say that Jesus is God, they have to argue with Jehovah's Witnesses and Muslims to go, oh no, Trinity, Trinity, Trinity. But in their hearts, I don't think they believe it. If they're thinking, how could they believe it? So I'm hoping that Hashem will have mercy on them. Christians are very sensitive to the doctrine of the Trinity. They'll fight for the doctrine of the Trinity above everything, and I think it's because they're insecure about it. They won't fight for the virgin birth as much as the Trinity, and they'll insist that the Trinity is in the Christian Bible, and it isn't. They fight with Muslims about this from here till tomorrow, and Muslims are right in going, are you insane? Like, look at the text, it's not there. And Christians get very angry about this. They get so angry that if you tell your pastor that you don't believe in God, you will get in much less trouble than if you say to your pastor, I believe in Jesus, but I just don't think he's God. You'll be thrown out of the church in a second. 1 second, you're out. You'll be immediately taken out of membership. Why? Because they're very insecure about it. They're very frightened of this. Churches are terrified of those who don't believe in the Trinity, because they know that if that comes tumbling down, everything does. So I'm not yet sure what's going on in the mind of the Christian. I think Christians are all insecure about this. The reason is because they tell me that. I mean, it's Christians who leave Christianity and become B'nai Noach or convert to Judaism and say to me, in truth, the Trinity used to bother me. I never would admit it, but it used to bother me. And I didn't talk about it because I was told I'd go to hell if I didn't believe in it. And I believe them, because I don't understand how a rational person could read the Christian Bible And believe it. So the in short is, I think that Christians are praying to God, really. I think they are. I hope they are. And they're not praying to Jesus as God, but as God's representative, as his messenger. Not quite a Muslim Rasul, where he's, something much more than a Rasul, okay? But not the Father. Unless it's some 90-year-old grandmother living in Monado who's just with rosary beads like this, so she's not reading anything, and I don't know, I don't know.